This is the Conscious Hour, and we're going to have some fun today. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about wars. You know, wars, perpetual wars. Hey, everybody's rooting for Israel right now, right? Some people are. Some people really know that Israel's the problem. But let's really talk about Mossad. Let's talk about CIA. Let's talk about wars real quickly. So, quiz question. Who's been in more wars than any country of the history of the world? China? Germany? No, the U.S., the United States of America. How could we be in all these wars when we're sitting in this big island with two oceans on the side of us? Oh, I just discovered we're a predator nation. What do? We use our military to go into other countries and steal their resources. Now that's being a really good Christian, isn't it? It's sick. Let's look at the stats. The United States government has 750 military bases around the world. And remember, they keep telling you that China's a problem? China doesn't have military bases around the world. They have military bases around their country, so nobody comes in to try to steal their country. But military bases around the world? No. Wars around the world? No. How many wars have we been involved with? How many wars do you think the United States been involved with? Meaning they went into a foreign country and raised hell. 194 countries. Wrap your head around that one. Now, let's talk about money. I'm from Zimbabwe. It used to be called Rhodesia. Now, Rhodesia has some money, and this is a $100 trillion. $100 trillion. See, they have phony money too. If you take our $100 bill, they've got $100 trillion. I want to go get their money. Why? Because they got more. Doesn't that make sense? I got $100 trillion. Imagine what you could do in America. Oh, but your money's only going to be worth, their money's worth like 1/10 of 1 cent. Oh, what's our $100 worth? Well, it's not backed in gold. It's not backed in anything. It hasn't been since 1971. So why are we taking all of our money that we have that's not backed in anything and going around the world and doing wars? World War I should have been the end of the wars. World War II happened, it was manufactured. That's a whole nother chapter. And then we just perpetually had more wars. We had the Vietnam War. We had the war in Iraq, the war in Syria, the war in Lebanon, the war blah, 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 blah. Every time we had a terrorist over there, Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, they're terrorists. No, they weren't terrorists. In fact, let's talk about the Iraq War and how it actually started. There was a phone call. Now, I have to back up. Saddam Hussein was an asset of the U.S. government. Yes, he worked for the U.S. government. In fact, the biolab that was created in Iraq was built by U.S., your taxpayer dollars, over there so they could build a bioweapons lab. And then who unleashed it on the Kurds? Saddam did, but he was working for the U.S. But now let's go further into the story. How did we go in and start bombing Iraq when Saddam Hussein was an asset of the CIA? Well, they set him up, but actually he was a good guy. Saddam picked up the phone one day. He had a problem. The people in Kuwait were slant drilling into the wells in Iraq. Yeah, they were stealing oil from Iraq. So he picked up the phone and he called Madeleine Albright. Hey, Madeleine, I got a problem over here. What's that, Saddam? Well, these pesky little guys across the border, I think it was Chevron, they're stealing our oil. She looked at him on the phone and said, Saddam, I can't get involved. This is a state-to-state dispute. You deal with it. He did. In one day, they stopped drilling. Why? They just put missiles in there, and that was the end of that one. Oh, but that gave the United States government the reason to say, look what Saddam did. He attacked a foreign country. And that was the start of the Iraq War. But then Donald Rumsfeld put the icing on the cake. He said, let's bomb them into the Stone Ages. Wow. And Dick Cheney's happy because he's part of Halliburton. And what does Halliburton do? They build big things, like all sorts of things, like water things and buildings and manufacturing things for, name it. Wherever they can make money, they don't care. They have no soul. But they could take over, and then they get to rebuild it. Okay, we can take Afghanistan. What did we go into Afghanistan for? Well, we were supposedly there because we were hunting for Osama bin Laden. He was the guy they said that did the 911, remember? But now you know that it was Mossad who set the towers and imploded them. And now you know, what about Osama bin Laden? He was an asset of the US government. In fact, when they were looking for him, yeah, right after the event, they went on a search. They were going to go find Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. Do you know where he was? At one point when they were looking for him, he was in Denmark getting dialysis because he had kidney disease. So that was a lie too. But what did they do in Afghanistan? Remember, it was going to be a quick war. We're going to go in and get out. 20 years later. Why? Because the cash cow it was generating was more than you could ever imagine. We're talking hundreds of billions being stolen out of that country in drugs, in resources. And then we stayed in there for 20 years. Just think how much money the manufacturers of the industry of war made. Their planes, their helicopters get blown up, all the bullets we shoot. Oh, it's record profits. So I'll give you some suggestions. Go to the stock market and invest in any company that's manufacturing weapons of mass destruction. It could be bullets, it could be atomic bombs, it could be fighter jets, it could be missiles, it could be anything. Invest in them. You'll make a lot of money. But what about America? What about America? What about the United States of America? Who's paying for this? You, the American public, is paying for this. You, the Republicans, you, the Democrats, you, the liberals, you, with all those labels for voting. We, the taxpayers, are paying for this. And what do they give us? Superhighways? No. Trains that go 340 kilometers an hour? No. A livable wage? What's that mean? Well, I was shocked. I thought it went up. Right now they're paying people $7.25 to $7.75 an hour. What are they, slaves? Are they in a concentration camp? How do they pay their bills? How do they put food on the table? Wait a second. We're supposed to be the richest nation in the world, but we can't even pay people a livable wage? What's a livable wage? Well, according to the federal government, and 3 years ago, according to OMB, a livable wage would be $80,000. Wrap your head around that one. But imagine this, your money's not backed in gold, so why can't they give you 80,000 credits? Forget the word dollar. That's like this thing here, 1 trillion whatever dollars in Zimbabwe. Throw it away, burn it up. It's a piece of shit. You don't even need it. Why do you have to have a wallet on you? Get one ID. That one ID is your credit card, your debit card's got everything on it, and it's got your credits on it. So let's have a new world order. Let's get rid of this slave entrapment. They own everything. They own the goods and services. They own everything. So let's make them richer. That's what they want. And then maybe we can get to peace on earth so they don't have to go blow the out of all these countries. We're going to raise the minimum wage to the United States and the United States government. Everybody's going to get it. You're going to get 80,000 credits. Everybody's going to get it. And we aren't going to go to war anymore. Nope, we aren't going to go to war anymore. 750 military bases, bring them on home. Wow, you want to save money, Mr. Donald Trump? You can save a hell of a lot of money. Bring our troops home. Be the American that you say, I'm going to make America great again. Then do it. Get off your fat ass, shut down the bases, bring them back home, and let's build a great America. We can take our military contractors and we can build new highways, new infrastructures and everything, and we pay for it in the United States with all that extra surplus cash that you've stolen from all those countries that are sitting in offshore banks. You can fund the building of the new America that makes it great for everybody again. How about that one for a reality check? This is the Conscious Hour, folks. Tune in. Turn on and speak out. Thanks for tuning in.